what we do is we criticize them. Like hata vile umesema tu kwa mtandao imekuwa ikihappen, clearly if you understand, you can see this person people talking about this is an addict, this is a person that needs to go to hospital, but people are making jokes out of it, people are criticizing, and the moment that is happening, this person can never ask for real help. This person will also, either people will ignore, they will think ni zile zake, or this person won't even ask for help. Unaelewa, juu ana feel alishani condemn. So what do? Anazidi kuwa tu hivyo mgonjwa. Unaelewa, people need to be taught these things. They are things that are ignored. Remember here we said that even suicide is a disease. Like it is a last symptom of a disease. Get? But people don't know that. They just criminalize what they don't know, they criminalize. So a lot of things need to change around it. Yeah, man.
And I mean, something like that, let's using the case in point, everybody will be talking about, well, to put it in context, everybody will be talking about emotion, everything that's going on, but it's just a fraction of what's happening. Some addictions, CJ, you can't switch it off immediately. You can't have been smoking 20 cigarettes and then today, while I know we believe in the God of deliverance, but it's a process.
It is, and as Shada says, it is a sickness. But again, if you are sick and you do not acknowledge that you're sick, you will never seek help. If you justify your behavior for whatever reason, then you'll never really seek help. That's why sometimes then there's the need for intervention, where people who love you will come and tell you, listen, you got to straighten up. Because sometimes even the person who is addicted does not acknowledge they're addicted. They do not accept that they are addicted to anything. It may be to drugs, it may be to gambling, it may be to anything. You know, they'll not accept it. They just feel like, but this is how I pass my time. Probably because of what it makes them feel. And it becomes difficult then to help that kind of a person, because you cannot treat somebody who is not seeking treatment. They'll get out. People go into rehabs and they get out. Families take people into rehab and then the person just runs. They have to ask themselves as well, what is my greatest need now? Because sometimes what you're trying to fix is not what that person thinks needs to be fixed. You may be trying to fix what you think is the main thing, like an addiction, and they're thinking, no, all I need is if I can get some little money and some food for today, I'll be fine. So you are on different pages at that particular point. You want to fix the thing that makes them not have the food. They feel like, no, if I have the food, I can manage the other thing. So it means that there has got to be honesty on both sides. There's got to be the knowledge and the education that Shatta is talking about, but then there's got to be honesty. And sometimes that honesty, especially from the people who are close to you, it may a little bit need to be brutal.
But that's the thing I was going to ask, because if you're dealing with somebody and everybody has, at least in every family, I mean, if you don't have it in your family, good for you, but there must be at least that one cousin, brother, sister, relative who needs some sort of intervention. But like CJ is saying, Shada, how do you deal with somebody who hataki kusaidiwa? They are not actively seeking to stop the addiction, but you see that it's a problem.
Is try to understand this person. Number one, where are they coming from? You cannot treat a person that does not want to be treated. You will take them to rehab and atafungiwa ndani ya rehab 3 months, atoke kuja waoneshe mlifikiria mnaweza niweza, aende arudi the same thing yenye alikuwa anadu, una get. But to try and help is to kurudi nyuma kidogo, umse ndio akujia ku addicted to whatever it is that they are addicted in, alianzia wapi? What is the underlying problem? You get? Unajua statistics zilisema 1 in every 4 Kenyans has a mental disorder. You get? So it could be a disorder, it could be something that triggered them into it. You get? If you can try solve that thing that triggered them into it, maybe they will start seeing the light. Because you get yourself into an addiction trying to solve something else. Unaweza kuona feel uko na stress, unaona alcohol can get you out of that stress. Unaelewa? So by so doing, every day ukienda kunywa una feel unajitoa zile stress. But kiukweli tu, you are getting yourself addicted to something else. So if we are to help a person that does not want that help, is to try and understand where did that stress come from. can we take that stress away from them? Once you do that, you have started answering the questions they had. Unaelewa? But ile ya kubulldoze, tumshike na nguvu tumpeleke rehab, change has to come from within. They have to decide. And unfortunately, it's not easy to change someone hata mkisolve shida yake. Unaelewa? Others use it as a way to punish you. Others use it as a way to manipulate you. They know hata nikifanya blanda kina Willis got me. Watanikujia, watasolve shida zangu. Unaelewa? So others use addiction as a defense mechanism. Yes, so when they weaponize it against you, becomes something else. Yeah, man.
But then, CJ talked about being brutal sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's necessary. So how do you balance? Because you also don't want to push this person away. Like Shatta said, some people, and it happens, some people are dragged into rehab or lie to that, no, we're just going to this hospital, blah, blah, blah. Because the facilities these days don't look like, you know, it looks like some hotelish kind of thing. Yeah. But you're dragged into there, which is another topic for another day. It's quite an expensive affair. But then if you're taken there and then this person leaves, so how do you be brutal and not push them away as well?
I think that for me, the thing of taking somebody to the rehab without them knowing, that's the extreme. Yeah. Intervention, Willis, is me and Shatta coming and sitting down with you like this and being brutal with you with the truth. We say, look, stop making excuses for your behavior. This is how it is affecting you and affecting the other people, and you need to change. That is what I call the brutal intervention. So then you allow that person to have a mirror moment. They may get angry, they may get upset, they may walk out, they may not call you for a while, whatever it is, but then they get to know, we are not going to send you any more money. We're your friends, we'll love you, but we're not sending you money, we're not doing anything. If you need food, we will shop, we'll buy the food, we'll put it here. But we're not giving you any money because you're acting stupid. You just have to be that brutal. The one of taking somebody to the rehab without them having asked for it, generally they will rebel. They will rebel. I mean, that's a trap. So they no longer see you as on the same side with them. They actually feel you're trying to punish them, so they want to get out of that. It has to start with the conversations that you have with this person. They need to see that what they're doing is messing them up, messing up other people, messing up everything around them, and they've got to be given choices. Until now, if you need help, we can take you to a counselor, we can take you to a therapist, we can take you to a rehab. You have to choose one, but this will not continue. Yeah.
And so in that sort of a context where the other thing that people, I guess, struggle with is you've told this person the brutal truth, and now they've cut you off. What do you do? Especially company, bro. Or sister.
Before you decide to tackle this thing, first of all, you should understand who you mgonjwa. Before talking to them, you must also weigh your options and know ABCD will happen when I have this conversation. An addiction isolates you from everything you love. It is that selfish. An addiction will want to have you by itself. Unaelewa? It will isolate you from your family, from your friend, from your job. Anything you love doing, it will take from you. Ubaki wewe, kama ni wewe na alcohol, ubaki ni wawili. Unaget? In such a situation, if they isolate you, you have nothing to do. You can't force them. These people have to hit rock bottom until afike a point I realize now I need to change. I can't go beyond this. Unaelewa? All you can do is try to mitigate. Saila anaendelea na hiyo process. Unaget? But when they ask for help, be ready to help. Unaelewa? And don't wait until this person is in it already ndio uanze kumwambia. You see that there are stages of addiction, you know? There are like 6 stages. You will say this person is the first stage, second stage. Start talking them. But if you wait until this person is in now total addiction in the 6th stage of it or 5th stage of it and start talking to them, they will think you're changing because you've been with them through this journey, you've been seeing them getting addicted, you did not talk about it. So when they're already in it, you want now to change them. Unaget? But if you can, talk early. Tell this person this trajectory you're taking inakupeleka pali pabaya. Mapema before it gets there. Unaelewa? So that even if they ever get there, they will remember Willis told me that I was getting myself into this, nika rebel. Unaelewa? And when they rebel, and you've been telling them, there's nothing you can do. You just wait. They hit rock bottom, they ask for help, then you help them.
That's good. That's good. That's quite something. Sitting and waiting for someone's, I guess rock bottom is what, realization of
that I need
It's
help.
is that mirror moment that I'm talking about. That somebody sits down and says, look, what these guys are telling me is the truth. I am a mess and I need to change. They have to hit that place. It doesn't mean that they have gotten even into depression or something. They just have to get to the place where they know, I can't lie to anybody else. I am actually an addict. I am messing up myself. I am losing a lot, opportunities, people, relationships, you know, and I cannot keep on making excuses for all of this. So somebody has to get there and say, look, I want to change. I want to do this well. But again, you see, for you to intervene, there has got to be a connection. You can't just come from nowhere and want to get into somebody's inner space. So it means that they also have to trust that you have built a relationship with them. You either love them or care for them enough that even when you're telling them the truth, you're not trying to harm them or hurt them. And you have invested enough to take whatever repercussions that would come. If the guy goes quiet on you, if they get upset, you know the strength and the depth of this relationship is that even if he does not talk to me for a while, I'm going to stick by what I'm doing because I know that what I'm doing for them is the right thing to do. But I wanted to flip it a bit on how sometimes people are even introduced into the things that they get addicted to. You could introduce me into betting, which you have strength for. And so you do it just casually and for fun. And then I come in. So we're doing it as a social thing. But then I don't have the mental strength to stop. So I start overdoing that thing till you're even wondering, man, this thing was supposed to be just a social thing we were doing.
But you
So now every time you call me, I'm somewhere. Every time you call me. Now, it's also up to you to start saying, hey, this thing was supposed to be for fun. I'm not saying betting is for fun. Don't come and crucify me over here. But I'm just giving an example. Because people start like that. And addiction, well, do you know people get addicted even to sports like golf? It doesn't have to be something that is crazy. Actually, it is said that golf is a very addictive game, addictive sport. You know, it can break marriages because somebody's always on the golf course.
Go on the course all the time.
Every time. And whatever money you find, you want to buy, you know, your clubs and whatever, you spend all the time over there. So it could be even something as simple and as subtle as that. And nobody's doing anything that looks like it is wrong. And maybe the person who introduced you just to socialize, meet some people. There's a class of people that you need to meet in this place. Then Monday to Saturday, every day. So you're no longer seeing your kids. You're no longer there for your family. You miss out on certain appointments. If you have to do business, people have to find you in the golf course somewhere.
Let's talk as we walk. Yeah.
But again, you know, you can be addicted to someone. A person can be a drug to you. You get addicted to a person that actually mistreats you. Last time,
Niliwatch, ukiachwa achika.
Tuliongelea kitu trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding, yes.
You get, unapata, this person mistreats you, but you start making excuses for their behavior because you think you can't live without this person, and you think it is your problem that they are mistreating you. If this person stops talking to you, you start having withdrawal syndromes. It's like you are hooked to this person. Now in a situation that you are addicted to someone, this person also, because they have the typical character of a narcissist is to isolate you from the world, that they are the only help you can get. You need, now your family now needs to come in. Into that one, now this is a different one. This is not, if they take you forcefully from this person and just keep you away, they will win you out of it. You will come back to your senses. But
will that be, if I am addicted to a person,
yes,
say now, my wife, my girlfriend, my spouse, and then me with all my years,
yes,
and size,
yes,
mukuje, ati munanichukua, munanishika, munipele, kwanza nitawapiga vita, and then how are you going to keep me, unless you lock me in a house, how are you going to keep me away if you come and grab me and say, we are doing this for your own benefit, Willis, tunakuchukua hapa, hii place ni noma, let's go.
Uwezi kushinda familia yenyu. Acha nikwambie, unajua kuna diplomacies mingi watu weka kwa vitu, but ile kijana wenyu wanapotea, nyinyi kama familia you must come in.
Yes. So I mean, yes, I agree. Yes.
There is meddling in someone's life and their spouse, that is wrong. but yenyewe kabisa mkiangalia hii trajectory kijana wetu ameingia ni mbaya hapa, anadhulumiwa kama ishi, at some point relationships get violent but people stay. Una get, yani you can see that pali inaelekea mtoto wetu, this daughter of ours, this son of ours is going to be a statistic of people that were killed in marriages or people who were hurt in marriages. Hapo now mna intervene as a family. You can take this person away from this person, even if it means calling the other family and telling them, we think our children need to separate for a while. You see, but you can't throw your hands as a family and say, right, hawa wanapendananga hivyo wakipigana. You need hapo mnarudi nayo mnaambiana hapana, huyu kijana tunamchukua. Yeah man.
Because I know that's another thing. I mean, yes, most of the times people talk about addiction and they talk about substance abuse and all of this, but then there is also, you know, what you partly talked about last week. If you are, well, to put it mildly, addicted to somebody, but you know, trauma bonding. If that is the case, if you know, and it happens a lot, you know, you have a family member is in a relationship that either is harming them, vile shata nasema au upigana, and they think it's love or financial or something is just not working, but has key. You know, how do you deal with such a situation in terms of an intervention, trying to take them away?
You know, most times the addiction, first of all, represents something to the person. And if whatever it represents is not dealt with...
Well, the person is the addict.
Yes.
Okay.
So if they're addicted to another person, you know, the person may be mistreating them, but what is the representation? Why did they get addicted to this person in the first place? I'll try to use something like alcohol. Somebody looks at the bottle and they feel, if I take that, I'll get high, forget my problems, I'll be okay. That's the same thing they will think about when they're smoking weed, probably. Or somebody will be thinking about that when they're gambling. They feel like, okay, this is something that...
It's an escape.
Yeah. So unless you deal with what the void that the addiction fills, you may not necessarily get this person out. There's usually a void in there. And that's where in intervention, especially when it is clinical, then they will bring in substitution. They've got to bring something else that is supposed to fulfill the same role in that person's life. Sometimes the reason they go back into the same thing is because of what it represents and they don't have an alternative. So if there's no alternative that is offered, then they will keep on going there. So you see sometimes when you're dealing with things like, for example, you want to get off alcohol, then they'll tell you in the evening, find something to do, maybe go to the gym, do something else. You're trying to replace and substitute an activity for something else that you were doing. When people are breaking up and they are hurting over those relationships, mostly they will take up a new sport or they will take up a new activity just to substitute that, because the void is what makes somebody go back. That emptiness will make somebody go back into that particular place. So I think there needs to be also the understanding. What void is this? And I think Shatta did mention that as well. What void is this that this person is trying to deal with? Is it something that is experiential? Is it a trauma that they went through? Is it something that is just on the inside of them? Is it because they've been exposed to certain things? Is it the peer pressure that has brought them to this place? Are they feeling lonely? Are they feeling broken? Are they feeling misunderstood? Are they feeling stressed? Are they strained over something? Are they dealing with a secret, even ailment? Sometimes, you know, somebody might have an ailment that they don't want to talk about. Anyway, so they're very stressed about it. And so to drown the thoughts of that, they will go into a bar, club, sit over there, and want to spend all the time there because they cannot face themselves. We've got to go back into, so what is this void that that addiction fills?
So then how do you have that conversation, I guess? I guess it's also a skill to try to get the information out of the person. Is it done by close friend, parents, person in authority, therapist?
It has to start, I believe, if you were friends with somebody like that, it has to start with the circle of friends and family before it goes to the professional. See, by the time it goes to the professional, there must be an acknowledgement by the addict that they actually have a problem. And nobody wakes up and says, I have a problem.
Yes.
The only time they talk about that is financial. Nobody, that one they will never deny.
Yes. Iko shida.
But when it comes to, you're talking about there might be a problem with you, your behavior, your character is flawed. They may not take that. So there has got to be a journey. It needs to start with friends. It needs to start with family. Which brings up the other thing, Willis, that do we really have friends? Do we really have friends around us? You know, people will hang out with you. They'll go out. They'll be with you in Varsha over the weekend and stuff like that. But as long
Varsha town.
as long as they are benefiting from your presence, they do not want to interfere with that. So anything that will upset you, that will make you not be part of them, they don't want to get into it. So they'll just leave you. Like, I know Willis is always like that. So they're not doing you justice, you know, because they just want you to be around with them. Let's drive to this place, to the next place, to the next place. And then when you hit the rock bottom, they withdraw. If we had friends who were just coming in and intervening, standing in for their friends and saying, look, we need to have this discussion, we need to do this, I think we would have less of these issues as well.
Especially that, I know you want to add something, but still on that topic of that matter of friends, and you know, whenever it comes to dealing with addictions, that's the same thing that happens. You know, there is a story, it wasn't an addiction, but something that came out in the force strongly was the late Chadwick Boseman, Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, when he was going through his issue. It was 4 years of suffering with it. We never saw it anywhere. We never saw it leaked anywhere. He was definitely doing hospital visits. He was getting treatment. He was on set, but nobody ever came out and said, by the way, Ujamana, because it would have been a big story. Guys would have sold a lot. But everybody was talking about how, wow, he really had real friends because we didn't hear it from anybody. And yet at his funeral, everybody was talking about how I encountered him during this, I did this and this. In the social media age, and that's exactly what's happening even now, one would ask, where are, for example, because he's the one who's on topic right now, where are Omoshi's friends? Where are, and every time such a story comes up, you ask, wapi marafiki, wapi familia, but most importantly, wapi marafiki?
Before we tackle that,
yes,
kuna kitu CJ amesema ngetaka kuongezea, pale amesema you get a substitute.
Yes, I was wondering, I was going to ask by the way, it just slipped my mind. So, if it is your wife, do you get a substitute?
Context tofauti.
Okay, just
you get, well, you get that substitute.
Right.
You also need to be careful that substitute does not become an addiction also.
Right.
You know, when you branch hope from this branch to another, for example, this one happens with ladies most. After a breakup, they hit the gym and they will train and train and become motivational speakers and show us how to go to the gym every day. You get, so you might end up hurting yourself in trying to overcome this addiction. You jump into another. So there has to be moderation in it. Now, coming back to friends and addictions, unajua, as Africans, I keep referring to Africa because our socialization should have been like that. In Africa, zamani kitu kama hiyo ingefanyika, having an intervention from your family, from your friends, haingekuwa ngumu, and it was African, expected of us to do that. Unaelewa? That you would punish, and in punishing I don't mean sasa kupiga, you would punish your neighbor's child. You get, you would do a mistake and a neighbor would correct you, and it would be okay. You get, but with the transformations and evolutions that is happening, especially in Kenya, because I don't think it is happening everywhere in Africa. I think it's in Kenya because kuna siku nilisema immunity system ya Kenya is very weak. We adopt every culture that comes to us. Sasa we have moved from having a communal kind of setting to an individual kind of setting. Unaelewa that my interaction with you has to be beneficial to me. You know, get it has to be symbiotic. I am benefiting from you, you're benefiting from me. But zamani, I would just help you for the sake of helping Willis and not expect anything in return. Unaelewa, but sasa hivi dunia imetufikisha sisi kama Wakenya ni tunasaidianaje. So hawa tunauliza friends wako wapi, wanajiuliza tunasaidianaje na uchali. A friend will think, if I go and take him to rehab and post it on social media, I'll get followers.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen.
So hakuna a genuine reason ya I need to transform this guy. This guy has been a friend to me. That realization has to come back to us. We have to ask ourselves, tulipotelea wapi? Tujikumbuke. That is why I keep saying vitu zingine zinafaa kurudishwa shule.
I think also, you know, as we talk about that, there are people also who hide their own failures and weaknesses by exposing other people's. It makes them feel better. I'm better than Shatta. See how messed up Shatta is. So that makes them not confront their own issues. Because if you're secure, with yourself, you wouldn't celebrate, you know, bringing out people's issues out over there and always bringing out who has gone down, who is not doing well. You wouldn't do that. That also points to how we view ourselves. And we have to now pull people down to try and, you know, be pulled up as well. That's low self-esteem that somebody has, very low self-esteem. If the only relevance you find is in bringing people down, right. That's not blogging, that's low self-esteem.
It's crazy because, you know, and that's the other thing. You mentioned something that's very important that I guess adds to the reason why some of these addictions, and because this is not the first time such a thing is happening, is because I feel, and I could be wrong, I don't know if in your experience, is whenever an issue comes up and it's in the public, people know that since this thing has been talked about and is trending, anybody who jumps on it is going to be increase their brand value or visibility, such that there is not really real, and I say real, being a strong word, no real help that is given to these people other than just throwing, you know, things at them. Yes, you are suffering, but could we also give you some money but give you a financial advisor? Could we, you know,
you see,
do something?
Yeah, and you've just preempted my thought because, well, most people do things, again, Shatta said it, that they do it for themselves. It's not for you. So you are down here, you seem like you're going down, you're having trouble. I'll come in with my company is giving this. We're doing that for marketing, so that we will tag the company name or the brand or whatever we're doing with you. But are we really offering you help? No, we're not offering you help. The real help has got to start with the person. Then we can talk about the rest of the things, like, okay, so this person has gone through this process. They have learned a few things. Let's empower them on how to run their money or business. They have a business idea that they've given us. We have evaluated it. We've seen that this is viable and feasible. We have tried to put for them a model and a system. And so now what we're going to do, we're going to put in some funding into that, sometimes not necessarily money. See, even if, let's go back to the case we're talking about. You give a guy a house who has no way of making money or doing certain stuff. How many people have sold property that they inherited from their parents? It's not a solution. I mean, somebody can still sell a house. It's not something that is beyond them. The day they really have the craving, they will sell it and go back down the drain, which also raises the other issue. I think even the addiction may not really be the only reason why finances are being mismanaged by this person. Because you'll find a few people as well who drink a lot, but they're able to keep their finances. So we can't just blame that. There has got to be a whole discussion with this person, what really happens. They're not the only alcoholics. They're not the only people who are dealing with certain things. But there are people also who have they've built empires while they've got these issues, like, you know, they drink silly. They've been able to keep their money. So we could also be covering up for a certain deficiency elsewhere by blaming something else. Yeah,
so it's something that needs to be looked at critically. Yes, you wanted that.
Nilikuwa nataka kusema hivi.
Siku hizi najua kiu yako kuongeza kitu. Kuinua mkono hivi. Yes.
Mi vitu mingi na bilivigi zinafaa kufunzwa from tukiwa watoi. Unaona, because hapa Kenya, anything that stresses us, we make it a joke. That is our coping mechanism. We turn things, hata hii ya Moshi, there are memes trending. Watu wanaambia ni aje amkeni mmeenda mkatafutia Moshi asubuhi, you know. But we need to realize, as a part of kuzoea shida, tuna normalize vitu zingine zisifai ku normalize na jokes. We joke around things that are serious until this thing happens, and then people will throw hands and like, tulitry, tulimsaidia. And when you build me a house and you give me the title deed, it's mine. I can do what I want. But remember, I have not sinned. That is why you came to help me. You know? So you can't come find out that Shatta is an addict, say, of alcohol. And then you go, you fundraise 1 million and bring it to me. Shatta shika ujipange kimaisha. Where do you think I'll take it? Straight to the alcohol. Unaelewa? So if there needs to be help, if we want to help someone, we have to be genuine about it. We have to look at all angles that will protect this person and also protect our money that we bring on board. Because what is the use of going to fundraise 1 million shillings, giving it to me Haribu Kesho? You also need to think about that money. Like, is whatever we are telling Shatta to do, or is whatever we are doing for Shatta sustainable for a period of time that he can get back on track? If yes, then you do it. If no, you reevaluate what you want to do. Unaelewa? You say, we will take him to rehab, we will build him a house, but we won't give him the title deed. You know, we will start a business, but he will not be the one controlling it. We will put managers to do it for him. Unaget?
As you assess him or her.
Yes, until he gets to a point that we feel now he's back on track. Unaget? Because if the guy says, I'm a comedian, you buy me a camera and see, they will sell it. Because they have to satisfy that appetite they have. Unaelewa? So help has to be genuine and it has to be well thought. Not just jump into something, do it and wash your hands of it. Unaget?
Yeah.
Be ready to walk the journey with the person.
All right. Well, of course, probably one of the people who, two categories of people as we wind up, we'll talk to. One who has had the conversation and figured, I think I might have an addiction. And two, those who are dealing with people who have addictions. Maybe I'll find out thoughts to them and stuff with you, Shatta.
If you've sat down and realized actually you have an addiction, good for you. Because it is the number one road to recovery. Acceptance. You start working towards it. What you do, surround yourself with positive energy that will help you towards. You know, if for example you say, me I want to quit alcohol, your friends tell you utarudi tu, and they start praying bad for you. Tutakungojea utakaa. And hiyo kazumba ikuishe utarudi. So remove yourself from such circles. If you cannot say you want to leave alcohol na watu washinda nao kwa bar every day, you have to create a different circle. Unaelewa? That will be helpful to you. If you are a person that is dealing with a person that is coming from an addiction or is addicted, unahitaji nguvu na resilience. Na ujue huyo mtu ni mgonjwa. Na aki relapse, arudie kwenye alikuwa anafanya, do not jump into judging them. Understand that in recovery there is relapse, and this person can relapse. And when they relapse, ask yourself, why did they? Unaget? Because you have decided to walk this journey. Walk this journey to the logical conclusion of it. Unaget? Just avoid judgment and be open that if your friends have genuine friends, be a genuine friend. That if someone needs help, they will say, let me talk to Willis. He will not judge me. Unaget? And also remember, when someone comes to talk to you, ask yourself, does this person want just to talk for me to listen, or do they want my advice? Because sometimes we talk because we just want to be listened to. And sometimes we talk when we want advice. You learn to differentiate the two. Yeah, man.
Well, go on. CJ.
You know, I'm thinking, is it possible to have friends that even if they used to do something with you and you need to stop, even if they continue, they will understand that you need to stop and they encourage you to stop without putting you under pressure, making snide remarks or something? Because, again, forming another social circle takes time. Yeah. So there's a burden right there of responsibility on the friends that you have. If they're very genuine, if you're going out for alcohol, or you used to stay out in the night and then now you can't, probably because you've got a family or you just need to change, they need to understand that and empower that. But if you have people around you who are addicted and you are helping, just understand that you're facilitating. You're not going to change them. You're not going to force them. You're a facilitator of the change. They have to want it. They have to acknowledge that they have a problem. They have to want to change. You walk with them. So don't also try to leave their life through them by making you become them or them becoming you. Just be a coach on the sidelines. Where you feel that you're getting weak, seek professional intervention. Even for those who are addicted and they want to come out, seek help. The same way you would go to a hospital if you had a problem with your body.
All right, well, I'm told we have some feedback. Let's take a look at some of that before we wrap it up. Right, on Twitter, Elias R. Addiction on a particular substance or activity is one of the most complex areas of mental health. Addiction can often be difficult to treat, and there is a good deal of controversy surrounding the causes of addiction and the best approaches to treatment. Kagasa Lynette, addiction is a thing of the mind. When you correct your mindset to reject addiction, then it shall be established. So let's correct our mindsets to come out through this. Sometimes easier said than done. Charlene Jab says, yes, you have to be ready for therapy, otherwise it doesn't help much. It starts with you. All right. Well, thank you so much for your feedback as well. I hope that you learned something. Keep talking about this, even as you go out now and talk about this online. Let's hope that as your keyboard warrioring, that you are more informed now. That and always remember, it could be you, it could be a relative, it could be a friend. So if you're out there and you need some help, reach out to somebody. Talk, do not suffer alone. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Sam Gatuka is going to come back. It's called the mother of all court cases, BBI. It starts today. Details when we're back.